The other thing I was thinking of too is I just like because I changed my name just because I thought that was funny. So um,
It's a good one.
the play on words, and I was looking at history, and that really is his story. So I'm wondering when the feminists are going to get a hold of that, and we'll have to change that.
Her story. Her
So
story.
it'll
Not
be.
his. Look at both sides of the coin.
Yes.
Truthfully, I've
So
used her
I just
story
like.
many times.
What did she say?
She said, truthfully, she's used her story many times.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta be aware of the two sides of the story to make up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's so many. I used to say this, like, when you look at how much information has
Oh,
been
you're
compiled.
totally breaking.
Okay. Ah, finally.
Silver Fox,
Okay,
you're
hear me
breaking
go?
up so bad. Sounds like a bad robot.
Who's breaking up?
I don't know. Like
Me?
what I'm hearing of you is just all over the place.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Is
Am I
my
through clear
signal
to
not
you?
good?
I can hear you okay.
Hear you good? I can hear good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm
Always.
not hearing anybody clearly.
Tanya, can you hear me good?
Yes, I can hear you.
I hear
Eastern Eagle?
Silver Fox and Tanya good. I hear Beneficial
No.
good, but you can't hear us.
Yeah, maybe there's something
It's
there.
well, I don't have internet yet, so I'm doing this off my phone, and I have pretty weak cell phone signal in my house.
Okay, that's why.
So maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I think
Hello, Danny.
Eastern Eagle and Tanya is hearing each other fairly good, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, very clearly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no issue with Silver Fox and Tanya.
No.
Well,
Silver Fox, did you receive my letter?
yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Did you get the envelope?
Oh yeah.
You saw the address on it?
Yeah.
Keep it for you. It's a good document.
No, it's a good document. I shared that with one of my friends in New Brunswick. And kind of
Yeah.
funny enough, I was talking about him being the eagle looking at things from a high perspective. So he really liked it. Yeah.
So, what do you think about while the other people come? What did you think about the the little documents? Can you make that in English that it sounds like the way it should sound in French?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's a challenge, huh?
That's a challenge to do the translation of such subtle meanings in there, especially when I've been trying to translate documents, and the more it is profound, the harder it is to translate.
People that know me in person, like Beneficial and Mama Bear, they know I don't write like that. I don't speak like that. Trust me. You know? but it's profound in French. The way it came. It took me 5 minutes after meditation because I wanted to quit everything that was native at that time. I said, why the heck? I changed my life. I'm a guy doing construction. I have a plane. I have everything I need. All the toys and everything. But why the heck I'm so attracted to the native issue? So it changed my life 360 degrees. I quit everything just to pursue the native to help the situation. So I decided to meditate on it, and that was my answer. Too bad it's a French answer for you guys. It's very hard to. I tried to think about the way to translate it, but it wouldn't make sense.
I write a whole lot of poetry and songs based on discovering things from a fresh eye. And when you're discovering things come to you. You get those insights, those aha moments. And I find that when you're inspired to write anything based on what is exciting you, the discoveries that you're doing, it's like it's the spirits that are channeling through you. Because when I come to write a poem or something, I feel something happening in my core. There's a presence, and I'm saying this. I'm saying like, oh, there's another one coming, whether it's a song or a poem, and then you get that those emotions that you pay attention to, and I like to describe it as listening to the whisper of your soul, because you become connected with whatever is the spiritual realm and the source, and you kind of don't pay attention to the loud voice of the ego, right? So yeah, so that's what's happening with me when I write documents, and the profoundness you can find in there is like people go like, oh, that's deep. But
For me, it was like,
it's not from you. It's from something that is coming. You're just being a
yeah,
good conduit.
I would just channel, so somebody comes through. Like for me, it was first of all, what impresses me is that there were almost no typos when I wrote it on the laptop, and that's not me. I'm bad at English and I'm terrible in French. So my French writing is 5 times worse than English. I make less mistake in English than in French. Okay, and as funny as it may sound, for me, it was like automatic writing. I just opened the laptop, tac, 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 and poof. Eh? When I read it, I said, damn, it makes sense in French. Because I didn't have I just went, then I look at it and I said, wow. You know, Print it, add some people and may correct the typos. There might still be some typos. As funny as it sounds, that was in French. My answer about my implication, that was, I wrote it on it. Did I say? No, okay. That was the meditation. That was the answer I received about my personal implication with the native issue. So that was what was telling me. So there's a job to be done there. So I'm part of that job. But every time I do a ceremony in French, I feel out of place.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So when I do ceremony,
Oop. And now there's just two.
There's two of us. I'm, I'm just thinking about what the Walking Turtle have told us to talk about our triggers, and we started
Yeah.
this conversation instead, me and Danny.
Yes. 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 I was wondering what because Walking Turtle, she emailed me yesterday and she was talking about what we were going to talk about, and I was thinking, am I supposed to write down a list of things that trigger me like in advance? Is that what was asked of me, sort of thing? It was a little bit or am I just supposed to think about it? So yeah, I didn't write a list down.
No, it's there's stuff that triggers you that you need to process to.
Mm.
I'm discovering this stuff that emerged just last week. Uh,
Mm.
this Sunday night, I went to bed and I stayed awake until 4 o'clock in the morning, just wide awake, my eyes wide open, not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Energy was so high. For that to me, it was like some triggers that happened during the weekend
Mm.
that I like what the and rather than talking about the triggers, potentially talking about the the solutions to remove the triggers. What is the process to get away from when you're when you need to go beyond the ego. And Jim Carrey explains it very good in one of his talks.
Mm.
He's saying, um, when you're the character you're playing, or the identity you're giving yourself to live your life,
Mhm.
um, when the character is out of date, something happens that you need. It,
Yeah.
it creates a crisis within you, and those triggers means that stop playing that character that doesn't fit you anymore.
Yes. I've heard that one. Yes.
So he's kind of explaining this way. So when you have things that you're doing, and I've been presenting to someone one of my old presentation about the proactive business blueprint, and this is old mindset kind of thing from evolving from 2009. And now with what's going on, it's more of living your best life with the energy that is influencing
Mm.
us to be living the way more in parallel with the source, the higher power, the universe, the way it works. And I'm putting together, gathering on my wall here, all the things I'm learning um, about the emotion scale. So when you have those triggers, how to proceed to really fall into your groove, to follow your soul path. What are the skills you can actually do? Things that are constructive, that are positive, that brings joy. So there's an
Mhm.
emotional scale that has been created and by other people that is channeling the spirits. And I don't know if you know the work of Abraham Hicks.
Mhm. Very much so. Yes.
Yeah, so the emotional scale is one thing, and another thing I've been coming across was kind of mapping up, uh, where are we with the level of consciousness in the universe, like in our planet. What is the And I was looking for this for like a decade. The video came uh, last week. A video was sent to me, and I learned about Ken Wilber is the most criticized scholar in the world in the field of psychology, and he became a philosopher because of his research and collaboration with others. And he's created a map about the level of consciousness and
Mm.
what has been tried and studied about the leaders operating at a green level, for example. And most of the people that are trying to operate at this level of consciousness, they revert back. They cannot sustain it. And 0.05% went to the next stage. And that's not the highest level of consciousness. And for those that went there, they could not sustain it either. So it tells me with those academic research that without a collective effort to really
Mm.
create an environment to support this level of consciousness, we have attained a ceiling. So it tells me like the pulse of where our human consciousness is, and
Mm.
what is the target market of the people you want to talk to whenever you do business, or you want to offer a course, and there's so many people doing these kind of things these days, right?
Mm.
They want to bring their insights, and it's information, in my view, that is important for people to find their target market. If your target market is operating at a level of consciousness that is like lower, then don't talk to him about stuff that he cannot comprehend.
Mm.
It's just going to understand at his level of perception.
Yeah.
So, and many people I'm talking to, they're advanced. So it's really hard to bring your language at a level of, to influence others and to inspire others to take action. Like
Mm.
there's a lot of talking. I like to take action. I want to build a business in the construction business industry, and bring
Mm.
my skills and develop solutions, implement solutions. Well, in order for
Mm.
doing this, people need to be able to connect. They need to heal some kind of way.
Mm.
And I think I'm just discovering that path now, about how to really proceed to connect and be a vehicle for the higher power. That's what we call the spirit. Like the spirit, Wayne Dyer is calling it the higher power, God, the Tao, the divine. It's all the same energy that drives life and drives us in the universe. And many messengers in different religions have been talking about this for over 2,000 years. We're not getting it yet.
I think I can I've not heard, did you say his name was Ken Wilber?
Ken Wilber, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll have a look up later and see what he's like. I've not heard of him before. I can relate to what you're talking about when it comes to like triggers and things like that, because I over the past month, I actually got influenza, and I've never had influenza before. And it was interesting it really knocked me out. And it was interesting to see, because I was in the past, like I get sick and it's like, oh, I'm dying. It's terrible. And all of this stuff that's attached to being sick. Right. And I noticed this time I was much more aware of what was happening in my body and the way that the thoughts that were coming up. And I took it as a really interesting sort of learning experience, right? Because I had, like you were saying, that you had this stuff coming up in you on the Sunday. I had, through this 2-3 weeks that I was unwell, all of these emotions that I've kind of gone, but why is this coming up again? This is stuff that I've addressed, that I've let go of, and it had come up, and I took it as a really good learning experience of, was I still attached to it? Like let's show you this again. Are you going to be responding the same way? Are you still attached to anything that is in relation to this emotion and whatnot? And it was really interesting for me to observe that. So I went through being sick going like, this is okay. I'm just following what I'm feeling to do, and so on and so on. And it was just, yes, I felt really, really crappy, but it was also mentally and emotionally cathartic as well. It was like it's a bit like like Danny talking about trying to translate something from French to English. There's a lot of when you get a lot of information in yourself that you're trying to explain, but it's just too much to explain, because it's personal to you, sort of thing. So I found it real. It was just,
The name coming to mind is Elizabeth Peru from Australia.
okay.
She's doing some energy reading, and my girlfriend just introduced me to that, and she's researched a whole lot. She's been following that for the last 3 years, like pretty religiously, if I can use that word for that. She's passionate about bringing her gift to the world, and she's introduced me to the things I was looking for a while now, for over 15 years, since 2008. Almost 15 years. I've been looking for my soul path without knowing really how to proceed. And that's the clarity I'm getting to now. And last Sunday, the energy reading was like, the energies are forcing people to evolve. So the way you're feeling, like all my mentors, when I go to Peterborough, I have a mentor over there. So I spend the time with my girlfriend, and we're doing the courses. And then I go and I talk to my mentor, and I meet my other mentor on my way back to Prince Edward County. And everybody is in the same boat. And I'm talking with people in New Brunswick too, and everybody are feeling the same way you did there.
Yes.
There's something happening at the global scale. And I feel if I can share this, I feel like getting into the pulse of where the spiritual realm is making what my friend in New Brunswick is saying. The intervention is happening.
Mm.
So the best way we can deal with this sheer level of organizing intelligence, which is God, the higher power, and that's the words of Wayne Dyer, because I'm listening to his books now, and he's really good at describing this way of thinking, this way of connecting with this energy and flowing with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not against it, but trusting that there's an intelligence that is at play, that is
Yes.
orchestrating something bigger than what anyone can do by themselves.
Mm.
See, life go on this planet. Like the animals, they go south, they come back to the same place every year. They don't have a cell phone. They don't have technology, right? So what's going on with us humans that are, that is disrupting us from flowing with this divine flow?
Mm.
So there's a mechanic to understand, and this is what I'm trying to pinpoint and bring clarity, and who's the speakers that are really addressing this in a constructive manner, so people can remove that confusion, and like, oh, what is going on with me? I'm going through this and that, and people are confused, they're nervous, everything is put in question, and they don't trust their own connection with this organizing intelligence, and how to flow with that organizing intelligence and bring what you're passionate about into whatever you're doing every day.
Mm.
Go.
Simple exercise, grounding yourself.
Exactly. There's processes,
because,
there's tools for that, right?
well, yeah, but you can just walk barefoot on the land,
Sure. Some
grounding
people,
yourself, because we lost the connection. Like
exactly.
all trees stuck with each other, all the roots, the microbiome within the earth, the ground, it's full of mycorrhizas, the microorganism. It's all connected, okay? But
Oh yeah.
us, we live on concrete, on the synthetic floors and everything. So we should at least take an hour or a couple of hours a day, barefoot, just touching the ground.
Well,
Actually sleep with a pillow and sheets that has wire, like a little wire
okay.
in it,
The
connected to the
grounding sheet,
ground of
yes.
the house and go to
Yep.
the ground outside.
You
You
can
know?
you can do that to remove the free radicals from your body, because
Yeah,
I've been having a wire with a piece of aluminum where I put the piece of aluminum in my sock to ground my feet to the ground all night.
yeah. I
And
see.
there's research on that are extremely beneficial and healthy.
Yeah, but that is a simple thing that everybody should do. Just grounding yourself. Maybe if everybody start to ground themselves, maybe they will feel the connection to Mother Earth, which is the energy, the living soul for us. She provides everything. So, but if you keep on grounding yourself, being all in a synthetic clothes, synthetic everything, there's a disconnect right there. So we see people cannot even elevate their spirit of their how should I say that in English? Their vibratory
The frequency.
frequencies, but they're out of touch with reality. They're out of touch with life. Everything is synthetic now. So the gurus in India, they don't wear. They make sure that at least one day out of the week they don't wear anything that's artificial, only cotton, linen, and everything. And they're gonna wear those clothes as much as they can, but they will not touch anything synthetic, man-made, beside natural fiber, for at least one day a week. Just to make sure that they don't lose the level of connection. And
Yeah.
and we're talking about gurus, guy that fast for like 2-3 weeks, nonstop. They're high up in their connection, but then again, they don't have life. So I think everything needs a balance. So,
Exactly.
but
That's
just
what
grounding is a simple, very simple tool.
that's
Everybody
what
should be grounded. So
That's what I'm.
why do you think people feel so good in vacation? Barefoot at the beach or in the camping? Because they're grounded, man. Simple.
Mm.
So simple solution. Start by having all the kids come off of those concrete floor and go outside, sit on the grass, and just be grounded.
Concrete
Meditate
floor is
for
good.
half an hour with the kids. We
Con-
punish the kids there when they're in disturbance. Many countries now they sit them down to meditate and to reflect about their action instead of putting them aside or grounding them. Hey, there's solution. But just
Mhm.
we need to go back to our old ways in many ways.
well, trying
We
to
we
convince
lost so
people of
much.
that.
Huh?
Trying to convince people of that is quite a different thing to do.
Mm.
Well, I would say the big cities are harder, but what I see here in the how do they call it, the gentlemen farmers, and there's a special name in the homesteading.
Homesteading,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in New Brunswick, there's so many people that are homesteading now. Like it's blooming.
Oh, they
You
don't
know?
trust. They don't trust the system to provide for them anymore. It's
No, and they want to eat real vegetable, real food. Because we know our health is suffering a lot. Through food is the second brain. So your digestive system, your that brain, the connection.
Mm.
There's so many things working against us in the modern society for the connection. That hey,
yep.
why is everybody going woke and crazy everywhere?
Mm.
So.
Mm.
We lost the connection, and that's the essential connection. We lost respect, we lost the love for Mother Earth, everything she provides, the love for our neighbor, and everything else.
Mhm.
It's easier to get upset than to love somebody. Okay,
Well,
try
it's
that. Try to see how
it's
fast you can get upset at somebody, and how fast it's gonna take for you to feel love to somebody. It's getting
Mm.
upset negative. It's easier.
Mm.
well.
So
I've
part
been
of
saying this for a long time.
yeah, part
It
of the
take-
calling that we need to readjust. It's part of grounding ourselves.
Hey,
So
Danny,
yeah,
um, uh, uh, Walking Turtle was saying just before you came. I don't know if you heard her to talk about what is triggering us and how to remedy that. So we talked, me and Tanya. That's the conversation we had, me and Tanya, when we lost you, and then we
okay.
back. So I'm just thinking, going back to the topic.
Okay.
What are the triggers that is making us land kind of a
Personally, or what in general? Personally, I know my trigger. Yeah,
yeah,
I was
making
not
a list of
happy.
triggers and how to deal with them. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was easy. I was the kind of guy that was raised poor, that made it good, then bad, then I became like quite easy, quite allies. Not wealthy, but I was doing pretty well for myself, and I was still not happy. I said one day, then I had 7 years of pitfall. Started with a bad divorce. Okay, my son had a cancer. We spent 1 year at the hospital with him, going to chemotherapy, a big operation, and we saved him. But not we, but he was saved. He was not supposed to go through. After that, I got sick twice, and so for 7 years, I went from here to downhill. So those 7 years, you got a bit of reflection. I said, and what? I think that men, when we're younger, we think with the smaller brain in us, most of the time.
The ego,
So
the small
yeah,
ego, the
you go
small ego.
and with the male appendix too. So sorry, Tanya, but we often do stupid thing. So and I think that when we hit the 50 zone, I
Oh,
Oh,
geez. We lost him again. Tanya, I have a question before Danny
yes.
come back. I have a document that I compiled the what I found about Ken Wilber and the
Mhm.
map and that stuff. If you want to share your email, I can share that
Yes,
because that
yes,
will save you a lot of looking around and stuff.
yeah, that would be good. Yes, thank you.
Because I'm really looking at conversing too with people that are interested into this kind of information because I want to put the essential, like this document I'm putting together is I want to communicate the essential of on the website I'm building to share my music and poetry, songs and
Mm,
poetry for a better society.
mm,
And I want to offer my service in construction,
mm,
but working with entrepreneurs that really wants to follow their soul path. What are we going to do to implement beneficial technologies? There's so many
mm,
things that going wrong in the world. Where do we start? I want to do something practical. I have
mm,
a lot of skills in construction. How do I bring my gifts to the world? Is with the things I'm good at, not things I'm not good at, but putting together people that are capable of building awareness. These time of solutions where we aim at working on,
mm,
it's for everywhere. There's,
mm.
there's no there's no there's no frontiers with this.
No,
So there's
I
you've met Muzz, right?
yes, yes.
Muzz is
Just so
work.
only on the lives here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Muzz is working on a mentorship program.
Hmm.
So, but in order to mentor, you need to have groups of people. So I'd like to be
Exactly.
I'd like to be a student with people that wants to work in doing construction work.
Mm,
So that's the kind of the thing
okay.
I'm kind of putting together, and that's why I'm documenting these my findings to really get conversations and other perspectives. So,
Mm.
is there a way you can share your email or can we
I can email it through to Jacqueline and she can send it to you if you like.
chat to everyone in the studio?
I don't
Well,
know how to do it here, but
I'm on the call. Sure.
yes, add it in the private chat because that came up publicly, so everyone's seen that one.
Yeah. Okay. So you see my email there, Tanya.
I did. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right.
gone
So
now.
if
Yeah,
you want to connect with me there, that's great.
will do. Yeah.
And just mention about sharing the document about Ken Wilber.
Okay, will do. Yeah, I've noticed similarly, listening to you talking similar from here in Australia. Um, the I've talked with Jacqueline about this a few times because it's like I've noticed such a big shift in myself and a big, again, there's not enough words to explain it, how it feels inside me. And it's finding people who are talking in this way. Because as you've said yourself, there's some people are still quite stuck in there, or they're just waiting to what's happening, and they're finding their own path, right?
Yeah.
So to talk on this level, or there's a small group of people for me at the moment, and it's building as I meet
Yeah.
more and more people, and as people become more receptive to it, I guess is the way. But I've noticed, like, not specifically talking wise in this way, but I noticed probably just maybe 2 or 3 years before, even before COVID hit, because that was the big noticeable shift for everyone, But it was energetically, I noticed there was all of this. I'm not sure how it is over there, but in America or the rest of the world, but there was this really big attraction for people for painting and creating things.
Yeah.
And I found that really interesting, and I just observed a lot because I had this like, oh yes, I really want to do that. And it was this, what I felt into it was like we're creating something new.
Yeah.
You know, we're breaking the energy of the old energy the way it has been, and we're creating new. And this is where people were branching out and trying all these new things, as in something as simple as just painting or craft or something like that. It was just a really, I just observed, and I've watched the way that the things have progressed over the years and through COVID and to this point. And it's all been these, before, like that thing there, that like before COVID we're creating something. Then we went into COVID and it was like breaking the patterns and making awareness build. So that was building that new creation sort of thing. This is how it feels to me. Where in this point here for me now, only again from my perspective, is it's much more quieter. It's going more within, not so externally noticeable or externally involving everyone else. It's much more of a personal, internal. Yes, it's a breakdown to a breakthrough. Thanks, Jacqueline. It's much more quieter.
Yeah.
You know, there's no need to, for me again, no need to advertise it or be out there. It's just more reflection, more introspection, more a more deeper connection with what I feel. And I'm really enjoying seeing this, because I up to that point, I don't feel that I would have been aware of it. And this is the part of me that I want to share, you know, because I can see this and feel this. And
Yeah.
I gotta stop reading this every time she posts something. And this is where I can relate to what you're saying too, is that you're feeling what you want to share this value and this, you know, this it means something.
This occurrence, like deeper, when Jacqueline is saying, like deeper connection to oneself, oneness.
Yes.
Basically, what you described there, and I that's what came to mind, is the people that has been triggered to paint, and it's I feel like saying, like the spirit world wants to have a conversation with humanity, and they've been triggering to improve the communication and build the trust, with people, with many. And in my view, this is part of the gradual intervention of this organizing intelligence that is God, the higher power. Everything is at play to really connect people, to ground people. So when you're triggered, is how do you really let go to flow? To flow with this energy that wants to talk to you. The reason why people should meditate, be grounded, be calm, find your center. What is creating joy in your life? What are your gifts? The spiritual world always want to talk with you. This energy of God, the higher power, is always present. Not me saying it. So many has been saying this for so long, but in different ways. But now the small ego is running the world for personal interest, in order to raise consciousness, and we are all one. That gap is being kind of filled. Let go, let God, right? Creator guide you in the flow. But how to release the triggers is just for you to surrender to that identity of the ego. And I'm just repeating what I've learned. What's kind of becoming more and more obvious, that you can't, trying to control, you can only inspire by being inspired by that the flow of creator that we all have access to.
I was thinking what you were talking about before, with the homesteading, what we were talking about before with the homesteading, how people are becoming more inclined to do things for themselves. And was it you or Danny? Was saying that people don't trust the system anymore. I kind of, I can see that, but it's people are learning to trust themselves and listen to what is right for themselves. And I think that's a wonderful thing. It's getting to the point of breaking, as you're saying, the ego, still that ego perspective of it, and realizing that what they're doing is learning to go back to trusting source, trusting what is natural and what comes freely to all of us. If we just put aside all of our preconceived notions that it should be this way, or that it's something's being done against us, or blah 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 blah. It's it's stepping outside of that victim mentality and taking ownership of yourself. That's how it feels to me.
Responsibility, being accountable.
Yes, yeah. I could sit here and go like, I'm going to take medicine, I'm going to do all of this stuff, and then everything's happening to me, blah 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 blah. It's like the to me for me, it's happening to me or it's happening for me. For me it is, what can I get? What can I learn from this? What benefit am I getting from this? Rather than being, oh, it's happening to me, poor me, blah 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 blah. And stepping out of that mentality. And I think this is where going back.
I'm a victim. Poor me.
Yes. And it's I think that, and going back to further when we were talking right at the beginning, where you were saying that there are people who are really, they've got it together. They know they've got this awareness and they're really connected. And there are those of us that are still waking up to that and becoming aware of that. And it's what came to my mind was that, like referring back to Ken Wilber, and you're saying like only a certain amount of people would sort of advance to the next level sort of thing, and the other people would fall back. It's not a separate enterprise. We're not I'm going to get there before you do sort of thing. We're very,
when you realize
we're connected, right? We're all connected. We're all just
when you realize that the only way to elevate rising consciousness is collective.
Yes.
Then Ken Wilber, in the document I want to share with you, is talking, and I've been talking before, but I didn't knew where the source was coming from. I just discovered that last week. But Ken Wilber is talking about, you have the small ego that is for individualists, kind of personal greed, and you get groups of people living like this that is running the world. But in order to, he's talking about transcending the ego. So rather than having a small ego for personal greedy stuff to extract from others, like he's talking about the messengers that came, like Jesus or other messengers that came, they had big egos because they were taking their personal individualistic needs or influence and plugging it in the higher power and using that big ego for the collective, for the oneness. So that's the thing. Even last time I talked with the group here, I was talking about the egos in the way. And then when I listened to Ken Wilber, well, there's a good thing about the ego if you really want to influence the collective with this understanding of how to rise consciousness. We won't be able to do it without becoming one with source. It's impossible. Consciousness would only rise as groups of people can create that synergy amongst themselves and have patience and have a way to find, there's always, Wayne Dyer's saying this, there's always a spiritual solutions to every problem. But it's not about doing it in practicality at the beginning. It's your way of thinking precedes the actions. And when you come to take the actions, if you're not really in a neutral zone, because we don't know how the legal system works, when you look at the law, what's real about the government, And how do we really navigate to do what is right according to our birthright to be alive? And who's got the where do you get your contracts to do this? But before you can start even talking about the law, if people are not at that level of consciousness to be really, I say this in one of my poems, show me the law and its history, factual and raw without any obscurity.
Mm.
It's because if you start questioning, there's so many things that is just smoke in the mirror. But prior to have a higher level of consciousness to even trust others to do this work if it's not your thing.
Mm.
Okay, what you're talking about creating a new social, political, and economic system, right? And in order to have people, a society that operates like this with the truth of life and our connection with the universe, you got to do it with a group in business, earning a living. Otherwise, I don't know how else to. I don't want to just keep talking about it. I just want to do it.
Exactly.
Do it
I
in
think
practice.
that's what it's coming to though too, is that it's not about talking about it. It's just being it.
How do you apply it? How do you live it? What is your spiritual practice to maintain your connection? How do you free your time? What kind of loyalty corporations should have to the people? So we create a work-life balance. That's what I'm writing songs and poetry about. All my discoveries since 2008 and the last decade or so. It's pounding on that. But in order for me to have this conversation and talk this way, I needed to go through almost 15 years of processing.
Yeah.
Who's got the time to do this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I find that the music and poetry is to build awareness in preparation for the next stage of rising our consciousness. And this is what I'm kind of portraying on my wall here. I do my notes on paper, put on the wall, and I'm intuitively gathering how I'm going to build my website and going through the emotional scale with an understanding of where level of the challenges in our hands to do this. So I can be guided in providing the most relevant, accurate information on my website that people want to. This is the path I see. And hopefully, look, some people will like it. And even if it doesn't spread, that it doesn't matter. It's the people I want to work with in business. Here's here's like here's how we roll. Like Walt Disney is a good example of a young kid, a story that I learned. A young kid that started working, finished school. He said, "Mom, I'm gonna work with Walt Disney." He goes to Walt Disney to start working. First day he comes back from work. He said his father asked him, "So how is it going at work?" He said, "I'm on training." A week after he asked him, "I'm on training." And then the week after he asked him, "I'm still on training." After a month, he was still on training. And his father asked, "Is there something wrong with you? You're still on training?" He said, "No, it's the way it is there." No one can talk to any tourist before they know everything to provide the best experience possible for anyone that works, even the guy that brooms the street. If a tourist asks for direction for something, we have a way to address, because the true product that they're selling is not the entertainment they have at Walt Disney. It's the experience people have when they interact with people there. The experience. So that's the true product of my construction company. The experience I provide. I provide the commodity, the things they want. But these little subtleties, if you're not connected, if you don't know how to deal with your traumas, and you have relationships in your life that disrupt your connection with the flow, how do you want someone that is all twisted inside to really bring their best at work? So people go to work to trade time for money. So we're looking at creating a Walt Disney for a better society.
Mm.
And I think this is the challenge we have on our hands. There's enough information out there to do this, but putting it in practice without the supportive environment and the empathy of your peers, and having some level of understanding that is not part of the schooling system. We're not educated about this.
Mm.
You are left on our own to figure it out.
Mm.
Where do you start?
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
I've been looking for that starting point. Where do I start?
Start anywhere, as long as you start, isn't it? Does it matter where you start?
Start with what you're good at. It's as
Mm.
simple as that. Don't go outside the things you don't know. And that's what we've learned from the schooling system. You got to make it look like you know what you're doing, even if you don't know.
It's the saying, fake it until you become it.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
got to show confidence. Even so, my kids was doing that with me when I was home, and I was like, I would say to them some challenges, and he would say, "Oh yeah, Dad, you just like this," and he was sounding so simple and so smart. He was throwing me off the first few times, and then I started asking them, "Well, can you show me the step by step? How would you do that? I'd like to know because this is a good idea. You have a good idea there."
Mm.
Uh, uh, I don't
Let me
know.
get back to you on that.
I don't. They never done it. And in fact, I learned that 80% of people talk from a theoretical perspective.
Mm.
They never put it in practice. So
Mm.
where do you find the mentorship necessary that encompasses everything?
Mm.
Development of a business at community level to start implementing change and start questioning the status quo and the
Mm.
corruption that's going on and enforcing the rule of law and the rules and regulations and everything that is oppressing us that we don't know what is true and what is not.
Mm.
You need some very good minds to mentor groups that
Mm.
are ready to flow with
Mm.
creation. That's the challenge in my view.
Mm.
But start with what you're good at and trust that other people of the great souls that are here to do their part, trust that they know what they're doing.
Mm.
Not based on wishy-washy, I believe and I trust you blindly, but based on the
Mm.
practical experience they've done in the past. Show me what actions is louder than words.
Mm. It's like leading by example, isn't it?
Exactly.
Mm.
What I find
Mm.
interesting in regards to social, political, and economic approach is in South Africa. There's a secret agent that is doing some work over there, working with the judiciary and the various aspects of government in South Africa because they've been oppressed over there way longer than what we have. And the approach that they have, the last thing I learned from them is that they want to kind of bring accountability to the politicians, and here's the solution we put together, and that's practical, that's real. Don't go and work on promises. Go to support and implement solutions that people need and want. That's proven to work. So
Mm.
rather than saying this, and this, and making false promises, and then on the back, all the money is going to their groups of friends, you know. But that's the approach that they have, and they really battle their way to with the matrix. The matrix, the people that are there that are making good wage in the judiciary, uh, they don't care about following the law. They want to maintain their jobs because they're making a good lifestyle with that.
Mm. Yeah.
You don't want to lose their jobs.
No.
So how do you really approach? You have a holistic approach to society, and that's the ultimate challenge in my view. The Greek philosophers have talked about society like 2,500 years ago. starting with Socrates.
So would it be an unwinding of all of this, or would it be stopping and just going, okay, well, that didn't work or hasn't worked or has only worked to this point, and now we move forward in something new?
Well, creating the new, in my view, has to be starting from scratch and dealing with, supporting people to deal with their triggers and a path. There's enough information to offer a path for people to operate at different levels and operate with integrity. And it's got to come from your heart, from your desire to be a better person. You cannot create rules to put someone in the box and you're going to follow these rules. It's got to come from inside of you. The desire.
I think that's a concept that people find a bit how to wrap your head around that. We're so taught that we can't think for ourselves or function intuitively for ourselves, that the concept of being able to do that and is a little bit overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, because there's so much unknown.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of emotional. This is where I feel there's a lot of emotional attachment to things. Your confidence. Not this is just sort of a small amount of things, but being confident to do that, being aware that you can even do that in the first place.
Well, there's multiple levels. If
not everyone wants to be responsible for themselves either, or they're learning that.
And the document I will share with you, Ken will be talking in the lines of, we just need 10%. The rest will follow. If you create an environment that is positive with some leaders that can actually have the intellectual capacity to understand and flow, right? The rest will say, we'll choose the easiest path. Oh God, this system is good, but how much power is working against this kind of unity from happening? You can see in history how every attempt to unite has been there's an intervention from the power that is stopping it, because they know, even at the time of Martin Luther King, what did he do to bring 250,000 people to go to Washington, D.C. to listen to his speech, I Have a Dream? And what I learned from and that's a good video as well, why, what, how, from Simon Sinek. And he's talking about this story in that video. I'm just taking from what he said. Martin Luther King, the people took ownership of what he wanted to do. They showed up over there for themselves, not for Martin Luther King. But what is interesting is that the movement that Martin Luther King had the power or the influence to initiate, people wanted that. But there was nothing to sustain it. It didn't go anywhere. And right now, I believe that there's a good governance structure in place that wants to do things right, but the private interest has got so much habits everywhere with law firms and lawyers that are living out a conflict that everybody is scared to lose their jobs. Public servants, lawyers, judges, people involved in the judiciary, and they cannot stop this small ego influence and fear to continue leading the ways in the world. And I don't want to talk about conspiracy theory, but I want to talk about being realistic about both sides of the story, his story and her story. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a little bit mind-boggling when you look at society and things. But who's ready to really dig to have this kind of a level of awareness? You got to spend years into this to have a grasp about what's really happening. We know it's corrupt, but how does this really operate? But and without knowing the true nature of the problem, how can you even propose any solution or be driven to work towards a certain goal? Being inspired and really seeking answers for what you see. Because the organizing intelligence will download everything in your in your psyche.
Well, if I was just thinking, if we're going back to what triggers us, and that I think it would be for a lot of people feeling powerless, wouldn't it be?
Defenseless, powerless.
Or the assumption that there is powerlessness.
Yeah. See, everything is there to be free. What strategy, what to do. This is why I want to do that mentorship with groups. I don't have the skills and discernment enough to have an integral approach to this whole mess we're in. You need to have a good team. This has been attempted before us, but has it been attempted with the intervention of the spiritual forces like we are starting experiencing now? I think there's a time and place right now that, the stampede in Avatar, that's what is bubbling to the surface.
Yeah.
So I want to be part of the bubbles in the surface.
Why not? Being a bubble sounds good.
Yeah. Feels like you're going up.
Sometimes it tickles and sometimes it just, gets you the wrong way. No. It's all good. Oh, dearie me.
The water is hot and warm and everything. Yeah, it's cool.
Be a bubble. Yes. If you get too hot, you just become steamy. And make people sweat and put them on the spot.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you become
dear.
spirit, you become a bubble. You become an orb.
You do. Ah, dearie me. That was funny. It made my eyes water. Oh, dear.
Well, I guess we're just two about talking about triggers. I guess everything is left to us to interpret the background.
Trigger happy people. Yes. Ah, dearie me. Okay. Okay, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Forgiveness is a trigger for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because I think there is, from observation from my own experiences and the things that I'm letting go of and have let go of, forgiveness is a big thing for people.
Yeah.
I think.
Why is it big?
Well,
what is the perception?
Because people, I think, okay, from my perspective, I think being attached to your judgments does not allow you to forgive, because there's the attachment to judging someone, and if you let go of your judgment that means that you have to forgive the person because of your perceived assuming that they've done something to you, but two, you're forgiving yourself for what you haven't known to that point.
Mm-hmm. So what your question would be is how to proceed to be able to truly forgive the
Mm.
people in your
Yeah.
life,
I-
to
Yeah.
truly, honestly forgive and being released from that judgment, anger, or
Mm. Because
right?
this is based on a conversation I have had recently in the past few days, and it is I can't read what she said.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let go
yes,
of judgment, open to a new perspective,
yes,
to forgive.
yes,
Yes, Jacqueline. Thanks.
yes. This was a conversation that I had in the past couple of days, and this is just my thoughts on it afterwards. Not for me. This is me talking to someone else who is going through this, and I was following my thought processes on this, and it comes to a little too of that being caught in the victim mentality and the victim that things are being done to you when it's not. There is choice in whether you stay in that reality or in that perspective of things or not. Um, it's a big thing. It's like what's the word I'm thinking of? Like when it just keeps rolling into the next thing and the next thing. It's on the tip of my brain, the word. It'll come to me. It just it opens up this as soon as you open up and allow yourself to be aware of what has triggered you,
Uh-huh.
it sets this, I nearly had it, this progression of the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. For me, it feels like once I've had a
The domino effect.
realization of something, it just continues on. There's no stopping it once that door is opened for realization. And I think a lot of it comes down to forgiving people, forgiving themselves for not knowing what they didn't know in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
or what they're still yet to learn. And we hold ourselves so harshly, so hard, that we criticize ourselves and hold ourselves to such unrealistic expectations in our ego thoughts. We're trapped in that kind of perpetual round and around,
So,
you
just
know.
if I can just expand on that.
Mm,
What I'm learning now with my girlfriend and the research she's done and the clarity she's got is that the ego is there to show you what you don't want.
mm,
It's an essential part of your evolution. The ego is not the enemy here.
mm,
Ego is there to show you what you don't want. Now
mm,
it's for you to be aware about when it something triggers you, is to show you a lesson about your own character that you're putting in your mind using your ego again.
right, right.
Okay, so you're being a victim of your own ego. We're not victim of the other person's behavior, because he's also being triggered by the ego to trigger you, and so forth. People are showing up in your life to trigger you to evolve,
Mm,
to trigger you to have experiences to evolve.
mm,
That's the playing field we're in.
mm,
Now, if you really want to release the ego, and I'm just talking for something fresh I'm learning now that I'm applying to my own experiences in life with my customers and relationships. It's about Rumi has made many very profound quotes, and one of them is the art of knowing is knowing to ignore. So there's many things you can ignore when you can plug your ego into the higher power
mm,
and look at what is your lesson. You don't have any other control outside any control outside of yourself. The only
mm,
thing you can control is what you think, what you say, and what you do. So when you understand this, then you can really pay attention what is triggering you, and okay, did you learn your lesson yet? It's a game.
Hmm.
It's a game of raising your own consciousness and operate at another level.
Hmm.
Don't fall for it. If you're being triggered, it's because you did not learn your lesson yet.
Hmm.
As simple as that. Doesn't have nothing to do with the other person, because you
Mm.
will do that as long as it triggers you.
Hmm.
And you find that in your wife, in your husband, the people that are really intimately connected to you.
Hmm.
So how do you love unconditionally and forgive? Is by connecting to the higher power. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have nothing to do with them.
Hmm.
The ego is working together to make it happen.
Hmm.
It's the only power you have is within yourself
Hmm.
to deal with the issue
Hmm.
and choose to connect in the higher power rather than falling to the resentment, anger, and I cannot forgive him.
Hmm.
He's done that to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, though, there's a lot of people that have, and I have done in my past as well, you know, and that it's easier not to change. It's easier to stay in that, you know.
Well, the comfort zone is becoming very uncomfortable right now.
Right. But this is it, though. This is exactly it, right? So then this is what I feel is a lot that is coming up for people, is that um everything is a judgment of something, of some way. It's letting go of your judgment of, and forgiving what you don't know, what they don't know. How do you help those that identify with fear and powerlessness, blaming others and the systems?
Well,
That's a
they have
very
to
good
resolve.
question. I would like the answer to that. Thanks.
Well, I have a song. I have a song that I sing. Uh, Wake up on your own clock. I say that 8 times in my song. You cannot force anyone not to go. You can only live your life. Bring your best life, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. Is truly dealing with people that wants to be living for a higher purpose.
Hmm.
If you want to live in the flow, yeah, I am striving to do this, and I cannot live this way with people that complains and are angry at the system. They have to keep living what they're living until their lessons are learned, and I'm not their teacher or responsible for what they do. They everybody's got their own evolution and experiences they need to go through. They need to suffer. They need to have these things like everybody's going through their own suffering. It is an individual thing that no one can take responsibility for.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So she said, sing
Oh,
your song or share the lyrics.
okay. Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Hold on. Music doesn't go well on these communications. There's background noise, so you don't hear the guitar. It really makes any singer look stupid trying to sing with these when you don't have a good sound barrier. So uh, wake up. Okay, if you want to keep chatting, I'm gonna go and look at my lyrics in my song folders over here.
You want me to chat to myself?
I don't know what you can talk about, but you can elaborate on the forgiveness. Yes.
Mm. I had this whole thing in my head, and then we got sidetracked with the song, and it's gone.
Uh huh. The song is called "Dreaming." Okay, Jacqueline, it's coming. I'm pasting it right there. Dreaming inspired August 26, 2021. What is the illusion leading the deception? How to focus on solutions. Just wake up on your own clock. Do not feed the fear. Hang on to what is clear. The beginning is near. Just wake up on your own clock. Yeah, Dreaming is the name of the song, yes. The chorus goes like this. Dreaming. Are we all dreaming? Feeling like screaming? Just wake up on your own clock. And then he goes on with controlled by division. The tool is confusion. Can we change a public opinion? Just wake up on your own clock. Too many private hands extracting from all the lands. And I got to go back to my thing because it only allows so many lyrics to be pasted in the here's the second part of the song. I have to do another. Too many private hands extracting from all the lands. Together make a stand. Just wake up on your own clock. Okay. The world is all of us. All people readjust before we turn to dust. Can we show up for all of us? And then the chorus goes again. Just wake up on your own clock. What are we going to do to see what is untrue? Can we gather to break through? Just wake up on your own clock. And then it finishes with the bridge and the chorus again. Yeah.
Thank you.
And if I can share more of this, the spiritual wisdom of wake up on your own clock, is this poem that talks about the human consciousness. So I have all these blurbs of what inspired me to write the songs, and that's what I'm getting ready to publish now and on the website. And this is a poem, the spiritual wisdom introducing the song Dreaming. Where are you located in the scale of human consciousness? Do you feel you are blinded? Do you feel you are defenseless? Do you contribute to hold the castle of cards of beliefs, following what you're being told, living along against a relief? There are enough evidence for you to see the light, catch the wave of transcendence, join the movement of the bright. And then I have to copy it again because it doesn't take it all. That's why I need a website. Seeing through the manipulation, multiple techniques of oppression. Do you feel under the tension leading to deprivation? Let go of the old, everything that holds you back. All of those you are being told. All servants under contract.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of wisdom behind those words.
Mm.
A lot of research.
There is.
But it's based on where do we go as a species? Where do we go as a society?
Mm.
Who's going to do this? If it's not us, who? If it's not now,
Yep.
when? So I trust the flow, yes. But I want to be part of the bubbles.
All right, let's leave it at that. We're going to be bubbles.
Yeah, I have some more poetry. If I can share some more. I have a bunch of them right here.
I think we're having too much fun here.
The other day when I created the document of Ken Wilber, the next day I wrote 5 poems. Was so talking to me. Puff puff. You know, you kind of know these things, but you don't have the evidence. You don't have the nuggets that makes you really more focused on what's irrelevant, what is important, where do I want to focus my attention, right? So over here I have one that's called lawfully end the abuse. Because when you're talking about removing the triggers and having time to connect, it's about being at peace with yourself, within yourself, right? You know, so, and then being at peace within yourself, you can learn things of higher consciousness and bring your attention where, what kind of community, society, what kind of people you want to have around you, and then start influencing with the people within your range of circle of friends, right? So many don't want to hear the reality of the day. Their status may disappear. Their fear creates a decay of our lifestyle where we all lose. Look at them and smile. Lawfully end the abuse. The last 100 years or so, the government increased tenfold. So many just don't know how we have been sold. Networks of private interest are playing to extract. What they do is worthless. They fulfill their pact. Organized crime or not, we all pay the price for so many being bought in line to have their slice.
Mm.
Then raise our collective consciousness. Raise our collective consciousness about the challenges we face. Do you feel defenseless? Do not lower your head in disgrace. Learn to be, live the way, for more to see, the light of a new day. It is not a warning, but an observation. I compose and sing for a reformation. Wisdom to wake up, message for your soul. A collective stand-up cannot expect a bankroll. What is true? What is not? We have no clue. We are all in a knot. We're stuck there. If we don't do it together,
We're unsticking ourselves.
Yeah, I feel that at the very high level. And there's one that I just wrote about being stuck there. The last poems I wrote was like, yeah, the higher power. The higher power gave me a path to follow. For when drops the tower, we avoid feeling hollow. Fill your life with joy to bring your best. Eloquently deploy, rectifying the unrest. The words flow from my soul to yours. We are not at ground zero. There are so many cures. As more live the way of being authentic, great souls will play. The wisdom is esoteric. We cannot know everything, but we trust for you to do your thing. recognize the primordial spark building the creator's arc. Yeah, that's another
Lovely.
one.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's for that. I have to publish it, and it'd be nice if people can read it and press a button to go on the social media, right? Share it. This is raising our consciousness to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Any of these things, I'm just the messenger. Like it's the experience I'm going through, trying to be in the flow, to making life beautiful. I got another one here. If you want to know, but I didn't revise all these things, so I can put my foot in my mouth here. They're not to their last revision. Learning about life, a reason to be. The Tao do not cut like a knife. Rather, it's uniting us to see. Creating a common ground, living in the flow, let go of the wounds, not allowing the ego. It is a daily practice to stay neutral, align at the solstice of being impartial, not to be indifferent of the situations, to be in alignment with your own emotions. Share and express within your circle, seeking wisdom in sagesse, making life beautiful.
Mm. Yep. You need a website.
Thank you.
Or put it into a book form or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think having a website and sharing the songs and what I do in construction, and serving my customers the way I do, where I offer a hassle-free experience in construction, and if people like what it is, go on the website and share it, flood the social media with it. Put the word out there. If you don't know what to do, at least do that. Right?
Yep.
It's not about me anymore.
Mm.
It's not promoting my business. I'm seeking to work as less as possible to do this, to follow the flow, to bring my gifts to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to vote for a politician? Don't come to my website. You're giving your responsibility to somebody else that will never be responsible for you. What? How else you want to do this, Tanya? Other than making it fun and stupid.
Exactly.
What's so
It's
stupid?
about the joy of it. It's about the joy of it. Yep, exactly.
What are you guys doing to yourselves? And then you complain? Come on.
Mm. Yeah.
Question your own beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote a poem here, Living the Way, the Last Recourse. That's basically what I feel it's happening now, and that's why the intervention happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this divine intervention that's going on. December 2008, I had a vision to engage on a path of ascension, to shed a light on how constitutions can be used to rebuild nations. Everything starts at individual level, striving for justice in your locality in order to remove the shackles from all aspects of society. July 17, 2023, clarity shows up to release songs and poetry to create a world of peace. The idea is not new, evolving from thousands of years. Inspiration to break through, finding purpose with your peers. What do you want to do? Be informed informed to renew your connection with the source, living the way, the last recourse. One I wrote today. Many times I've been told you are an old soul. Those who get to know me knows that I want people to be free. The more I dig in to find my soul path, my flame from within seeks to derail psychopaths. Witnessing the greed, the takers and their small egos, I strategize to remove the weeds in the way of the divine flow, using the ego for the greater good, speaking the truth to show, exposing the falsehood, living for the light to shine and be bright, sharing obvious insights, the need to be outright.
Thank you.
I got 155 of them.
Let's leave it there.
I'm not going to get another pile on my desk there.
Good. Thank you for talking. It's been lovely.
Yeah, thanks for the allow for listening. You gave some good points, but
I think we kind of stayed on topic and a little bit not and a little bit on and a little bit off, but it was all good. It was a good conversation.
yeah,
Enjoyed it.
I guess it's an opportunity to have someone to listen. Yeah, I'd like to do this in a practical context in business and have some good conversations with my customers and put the word out there. Let's do it. Can you imagine a franchise operating lawfully and empowering groups and communities to rebuild communities and having a complete strategy for reforming society? Yeah, that's the song I'm about to record. Create a world of peace. Yeah.
It is getting there. It's happening.
Yeah. It's still a lot of work to be done, but it can only progress if we fall in the flow. There's no room for the small ego anymore. It cannot be in the way. That's why we're being forced to shed the last layers of trauma that we have in our lives. That's a communication from Elizabeth Peru, from Australia. She's got a channel. My girlfriend is following her. She's buying her meditations and all that stuff because she's pretty much on the button of what's going on with the energies and what the latest thing that's coming on with the intervention happening. There's some people channeling this. There's a lot of people not bringing the right accurate information, but there's the one that do. It's kind of interesting to see where it goes. And when it resonates with you, then you're more in alignment with the intervention that's going on. So that's what I find. I'm surrounded with people with it's to get the pulse of what's truly happening, and then being inspired to write these messages and where we're coming from, where are we going, and kind of pump that to raise human consciousness. That's one of the things that should happen, to feed your psyche with information that is non-misleading, that is constructive, that is for your own well-being, that is for the oneness, right? I'm shutting up. Can go on forever.
All right. Shall we leave it there then?
Well,
I need
we're
to
the one
toddle
that's
off. and-
deciding, I guess.
Well, yes, I've got to go and get about my day. I know it's evening for you.
Okay, well, internet gone. I have a message from Jetlyn. She texted me.
Okay.
She lost the internet.
Okay.
You two finish when you want to finish. So yeah,
Okay.
we're finished then.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. I've enjoyed this.
Well, awesome. We get some time to get to know each other a little bit more.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I get to talk.
All right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to have your email. Do you
Yes,
need
I'll
to
send
catch
it through to Jacqueline. Yes.
Do you need to catch it from the chat there?
Yes, I'll go through and have a look. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you want to write it down, ericsavoie@protonmail.com.
Okay. Yep. I'll go one better. Done. Screenshot it.
All right.
All right.
All
Thanks.
right, Tanya.
Till next time.
Until next time, for sure.
Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.